The foods we eat provide the structural foundation, the literal building blocks, of the neurons that let us think, feel, and remember. But today, let's talk about something that affects millions and is deeply tied to what's on our plates: gout. Have you or someone you know ever experienced sudden, intense pain in the big toe or other joints? That could be gout, a painful, inflammatory condition that many people don't fully understand. In this video, we'll break down what causes gout, how it affects your body, and most importantly, what you can do to manage or even prevent it. Stick around, because this isn't just for those currently dealing with gout. It's for anyone who wants to avoid it down the line. And before we dive in, let me ask, have you ever experienced symptoms of gout? Share your experience in the comments. I read them all. Also, if you find this type of content helpful, consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people. Now let's get into what's really happening inside the body when gout strikes, and what steps you can take to fight back naturally and effectively. Because when it comes to pain and long-term joint damage, knowledge truly is power. So, what is gout really and why does it hurt so much? Let's dive in. Ready? Let's get started. Gout is an inflammatory disease that develops when monosodium urate crystals accumulate inside a joint. These crystals make the joint red, hot, swollen, and excruciatingly painful, often within just a few hours. This painful episode is referred to as a gouty attack. The core problem is something called hyperuricemia, which simply means there's too much uric acid floating around in the blood. When this uric acid builds up beyond a certain point, it starts to form sharp, needle-like crystals, especially in areas with slow blood flow, like joints and the kidneys. But where does all this uric acid come from? The answer begins at the cellular level. Inside our cells are molecules called purines, which are essential components of our DNA and RNA. When cells break down, as they constantly do, purines are released and ultimately broken down into uric acid. Normally, this uric acid dissolves in the blood and is excreted through urine. But if your body is producing too much of it, or not excreting enough, it can reach a saturation point. That's when crystals begin to form. So, once uric acid reaches a concentration higher than 6.8 milligrams per deciliter, it starts to crystallize. These urate crystals then attract sodium ions, creating monosodium urate. That's the form actually responsible for gout. Now, some foods naturally contribute to this problem, especially those that are rich in purines. Shellfish, anchovies, red meat, and organ meats like liver are pretty common culprits. But hey, it's not just about what you eat. It's also about how your body handles those foods. For instance, sugary drinks, especially the ones with high fructose corn syrup, can really raise uric acid levels by speeding up purine production. And alcohol, particularly beer and spirits, not only boosts uric acid production, but also messes with how your body gets rid of it. Now combine all of that with dehydration and well, you've got a perfect storm for crystal formation. There are also lifestyle and medical factors to think about. Obesity and diabetes have strong links to gout, and certain medications like diuretics and low-dose aspirin can raise uric acid levels too. For folks going through chemotherapy or radiation, the rapid breakdown of cells can cause a sudden spike in uric acid. Plus, genetic predispositions and chronic kidney disease can both mess with how efficiently your body clears out uric acid. When a gout attack strikes, it usually targets the joint at the base of the big toe, a condition known as podagra. This joint is often the first victim because it's farther from the heart and has lower blood flow, which allows crystals to settle in more easily. The pain is often so intense that even the touch of a bedsheet feels unbearable. Attacks often strike at night, waking people from sleep with searing joint pain. But the big toe isn't the only joint at risk. Ankles, knees, wrists, elbows, any of these can become targets over time. During an attack, white blood cells rush to the site, trying to get rid of the crystals, but in doing so, they release a cascade of inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. This leads to redness, swelling, and severe pain. So what can you do when you're in the middle of an attack? Most doctors recommend nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, like ibuprofen or naproxen to reduce swelling and pain. In some cases, corticosteroids are used. Another option is colchicine, a medication that reduces inflammation by stopping white blood cells from traveling to the affected area. So, while treating the symptoms is definitely important, addressing the root cause, elevated uric acid, is really the key to long-term management. And honestly, that starts with making some lifestyle changes. Hydration is absolutely critical. Drinking plenty of water helps your kidneys flush out that excess uric acid. Cutting back on things like red meat, seafood, alcohol, and sugary drinks, that's another powerful step. Plus, losing weight, staying active, and steering clear of crash diets can seriously reduce your risk. There are also medications that can help lower uric acid levels in the blood. Xanthine oxidase inhibitors like allopurinol and febuxostat work by blocking the enzyme that turns purines into uric acid. And then there are uricacid drugs like probenecid, which help the kidneys get rid of more uric acid. Alright, so, left unmanaged, gout can become chronic. And chronic gout, well, it can lead to permanent joint damage and even visible deformities. You might start to notice these lumps under the skin, called tophi, which are actually deposits of urate crystals. Yeah, these can show up on your fingers, ears, elbows, or even along bones near your joints. But hey, it's not just your joints that are at risk here. Gout can also cause uric acid kidney stones and lead to something called urate nephropathy. That's when those crystals start damaging the kidneys themselves. Managing gout isn't really about being perfect, it's more about being consistent. By staying hydrated, making smart dietary choices, and when needed, using medications, a lot of people with gout can actually live pain-free, active lives. And as research keeps evolving, we're learning more and more about how diet and lifestyle can play a powerful role in managing not just gout, but inflammation and metabolic health overall. So there you have it. Gout isn't just an occasional flare-up. It's actually a complex condition with deep roots in diet, metabolism, and your overall health. But here's the good news. There's a lot you can do to prevent and manage it. From drinking more water to avoiding high-purine foods, even small changes can make a really big difference. Understanding the science behind gout helps take some of the mystery and the fear out of the condition. And if you're living with gout, just remember you're not alone, and this definitely isn't a life sentence. Let us know in the comments. Have you or someone you know struggled with gout? What worked for you? If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It seriously helps more than you might think. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos on health, nutrition, and how to live pain-free. We've got more deep dives coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Until next time, stay hydrated, eat smart, and take care of those joints. Your future self will thank you. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.